Does that sound feel familiar? Wine being poured slowly into a glass, rich, dark, calm. You probably imagined grapes grown on a quiet hillside somewhere in Italy, aged patiently in oak barrels while time does the rest. But today our wine story doesn't begin in a vineyard. It begins with creatures most people run from: cobras, vipers, copperheads, rattlesnakes. Sealed whole inside glass bottles, submerged in alcohol, and left there for months, sometimes years. This is snake wine, a drink rooted in centuries of belief, medicine, and ritual. A process that involves venom, survival, and a level of trust that feels almost impossible. And the most unsettling part? There are people who drink this regularly and swear by it. Stay with us, because we're not only going to show the venom extraction process, we would also show the daily consumers alive. First, the preparation. The process starts with choosing the snake, and this part is far more methodical than most people expect. Specific species are used, typically cobras or vipers, because of their venom composition and long-standing use in traditional preparations. This is not a grab whatever you find situation. The size, health, and condition of the snake all matter because they directly affect what ends up inside the bottle. Handling comes next, and this is where experience shows. The snake is restrained using tools designed to keep distance between fangs and fingers for reasons that should be obvious. Venom does not care how confident you feel that day. One slip here turns a cultural practice into an emergency. The alcohol is prepared separately. Usually it's high-proof rice wine or grain alcohol, strong enough to act as a preservative and solvent. This isn't about taste. At this stage, no one is worried about flavor notes or mouthfeel. The goal is chemistry and stability. Depending on the tradition, the snake may be placed into the bottle alive or immediately after death. Either way, timing matters. Once the snake goes in, the bottle is sealed quickly. There's no stirring, no adjustment, no "let's fix that later." This step locks everything in place. Next, we're going to show what happens at the exact moment the bottle is sealed, and why that decision determines how the wine will change over time. The sealing. Once the snake is inside the bottle, things move quickly. This is not the stage where anyone pauses to admire craftsmanship or rethink life choices. The alcohol is poured immediately, usually a high-proof rice wine or grain spirit, strong enough to submerge the snake completely and leave no air pockets behind. Air is the enemy here. Too much oxygen and the process turns unstable. Too little alcohol strength and preservation fails. This step is basically controlled chemistry with very high consequences. As the liquid fills the bottle, something important happens almost instantly. The alcohol begins interacting with the venom compounds. Contrary to what most people assume, venom doesn't behave the same way once it's submerged in ethanol. Proteins begin to denature, structures break down, and toxicity starts changing form. This doesn't mean the bottle suddenly becomes harmless. It means the chemistry has officially taken over. The bottle is sealed tight, usually with wax, resin, or an airtight cap. No shaking, no turning, no checking. Once sealed, the contents are left alone. Opening the bottle early isn't curiosity. It's contamination. In some cases, pressure builds inside during the first few days. That's why experienced producers store bottles carefully and don't stand directly over them. This isn't folklore, it's physics. From this point forward, nothing inside the bottle is visible anymore. What's happening now is slow, invisible, and entirely dependent on time. Next, we're going to show what actually happens inside the bottle over months, and why waiting is the most unpredictable part of the entire process. After the bottle is sealed, the process becomes less dramatic and more patient. Nothing moves. Nothing changes quickly. The bottle is stored in a cool, dark place and left alone for months, sometimes years. This is where most assumptions about snake wine stop being useful. Because whatever people imagine happening inside the bottle, it's not instant. Over time, the alcohol continues to break down organic material. Venom proteins slowly denature further, tissues soften, and compounds from the snake dissolve into the liquid. The wine itself changes color, often darkening as the infusion deepens. This is why experienced producers don't rush this stage. Time isn't optional here. It's the main ingredient. There's also a practical reason for waiting. Opening the bottle too early doesn't just interrupt infusion, it increases risk. Improperly infused bottles have caused real injuries in the past, which is why traditional timelines are followed closely. This is one process where impatience actually makes things more dangerous. During this period, the bottle is occasionally checked but not handled. No shaking, no repositioning, no testing. The goal is consistency, not curiosity. By the end of the aging phase, the wine is considered stable enough for use according to tradition. At this point, the transformation is complete. The preparation is finished. What remains now is no longer a ritual, but a product. Next, we're going to show where these bottles actually end up, who sells them, and how snake wine moves from private preparation into the marketplace. Once the infusion period is complete, snake wine leaves the controlled environment where it was made and enters a very different world. At this stage, it stops being a private preparation and becomes something that moves through markets, borders, and regulations, depending on where it's sold. In parts of China, Vietnam, and Southeast Asia, snake wine is produced by small workshops and traditional practitioners rather than large factories. Bottles are often sold locally through herbal medicine shops, specialty liquor stores, and open markets. In these settings, the wine is treated less like alcohol and more like a traditional remedy, often displayed alongside dried herbs, roots, and preserved animals. But when people talk about high-quality snake wine, Vietnamese Vinh Sun King Cobra snake wine is often mentioned first, known for its traditional use of king cobra and high-proof rice alcohol. Another respected name is Dong Tam snake wine from Vietnam, produced by a licensed traditional medicine company with controlled methods rather than tourist display bottles. In China, Tong Ren Tong Sheju stands out, coming from one of the country's oldest traditional medicine houses with strict preparation standards. Beijing Tong Ren Tong snake wine, often grouped under Sheju, is valued for regulated sourcing and consistency instead of visual spectacle. Beyond brands, Hanoi traditional Cobra wine represents small-batch local preparations sold through herbal medicine shops, where quality is judged by method, not appearance. Snake wine isn't just a bottle on a shelf or a reaction clip waiting to happen. It's the result of a process that blends biology, chemistry, tradition, and belief. all moving at very different speeds. What starts as careful preparation becomes a sealed experiment in time, and eventually, a product shaped as much by culture as by alcohol. Whether people view it as medicine, ritual, or curiosity, the process behind it is precise, deliberate, and far more controlled than it appears at first glance. And that's what makes it last.